Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh and welcome to the weekend edition of Explosive Debate. But before we go across to our topic of discussion this week on AAP versus BJP, here's some news which is coming in from Chandigarh. The key accused in the Chandigarh MMS scandal has been detained by the Himachal Pradesh police. The 23-year-old accused was detained from Shimla. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister says that they are in touch with Punjab police and will fully cooperate with them. Let's listen to him.
देखिए उसमें उस सिलसिले में मुझे पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट के अधिकारियों से बातचीत मेरी हुई है। मैंने कहा कि उसमें पूरी कोऑपरेशन करिए पंजाब पुलिस को। जो भी दोषी है, जो सूचना के मुताबिक जो जानकारी मिली है उसके मुताबिक ये मालूम पड़ा कि हिमाचल प्रदेश से संबंधित वो लड़का है जिसने उसको वायरल किया है। उसके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई करेंगे और पूरी हम पंजाब सरकार को उसमें पूरा कोऑपरेशन देंगे निश्चित रूप से, क्योंकि गलत काम किया है तो सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
Let me just go across to my colleague Tajinder Singh, who's joining us on the phone line. Tajinder, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2 people have already been arrested. We did speak to the students a short while back at Chandigarh University who say that there actually has been a cover-up operation. Do you think this thing is now going to take a serious turn? More names could come out and there could actually be evidence that there was a video which was made?
See, Pallavi, though the students, they allege that a cover-up is being planned by some of the people who are on the who have some influence in the administration, but now you see this issue has taken a bigger turn. In Shimla, the Himachal police have now detained a 23-year-old youth who is reported to have leaked this MMS, who is reported to have made this MMS viral. The Himachal Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has also said that he has instructed all his police officers in Himachal Pradesh to fully cooperate with the Punjab police, though we are told that this youth who is 23-year-old has been detained by the Shimla police, but Punjab police team is yet to reach Shimla, and the Shimla police, when we spoke to them, they say that the boy is in their custody, he has been detained, and he would be handed over to the Punjab police when the Punjab police would reach them. But yes, there are allegations coming that the Punjab side, some influential people are trying to put a cover-up on this entire episode, but now it seems that the entire state mechanism of Himachal Pradesh and the Punjab, they will have to do a thorough probe and punish the culprits behind this entire scandal. Yes, Pallavi.
Okay, thank you very much, Tajinder. This is something which we're going to keep our eyes on the huge amount of unrest by students of Chandigarh University. But to our top story this evening, AAP versus the BJP once again. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party held a national meeting in the national capital today, and this crucial meet came in the backdrop of AAP alleging that BJP is trying to break the party via raids on the arrest of its leaders. After AAP MLA Amanatullah Khan was sent to a 4-day custody by the anti-corruption branch, the Delhi Chief Minister and AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal defended him, saying that nothing was found from his house and that the BJP is threatening AAP MLAs to get the same treatment as Khan if they don't join the BJP. The Delhi police and ACB are on the lookout for Amanatullah Khan's aide, Imam Siddiqui, who continues to be on the run. Now, during the raids, 12 lakh in cash, weapons and 2 diaries have been seized from his residence.
An official of the Anti-Corruption Bureau manhandled allegedly during the raid on AAP MLA Amanatullah Khan at Delhi's Jamia Nagar on Friday. This video, released by the ACB, is at the centre of yet another storm amid the crackdown on Khan in the Waqf Board recruitment scam. Khan is in 4-day police custody for alleged financial misappropriation and other irregularities in the functioning of the Delhi Waqf Board. His aide, Imam Siddiqui, remains on the run. Cash and arms recovered from Siddiqui's house and a red diary allegedly listing illegal transactions add to heat on AAP. A meeting of the AAP leadership this morning lashed out on what it has frequently termed an ongoing BJP witch hunt.
कुछ नहीं मिला अमानतुल्लाह के यहाँ उसके सहयोगी के यहाँ फलाना मिला, ढिमका मिला, ये मिला, उसका सहयोगी सारे टीवी चैनलों में जा जाके कह रहा है जी जो भी मिला मेरा है, और उसके यहाँ भी कुछ नहीं मिला से अब उसका इन्होंने ढिंडोरा पीट दिया। तो अब मेरे को ये पता चला है इनका ऑपरेशन लोटस तो फेल हो गया, अब इन्होंने ऑपरेशन लोटस फेज 2 शुरू किया है। कल से एमएलए के पास फोन आने चालू हो गए, या तो तुम हमारे साथ आ जाओ नहीं तो तुम्हारा भी वही हाल करेंगे जो अमानतुल्लाह का किया था। धमकियां दे रहे हैं।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के दिमाग पे पावर चढ़ गया।
The BJP keeps up the offensive, hitting back on Kejriwal's claims of innocence of his ministers amid multiple allegations of graft.
कोई इंडियन जुडिशरी की सर्टिफिकेट की आवश्यकता नहीं है। अगर केजरीवाल जी कह दें कि फलाना आदमी ऑनेस्ट है तो वो ऑनेस्ट है, अगर वो कह दें कि ये सारे लोग भ्रष्ट हैं तो वही भ्रष्ट है।
The crackdown on Amanatullah Khan over the Waqf board scam becomes part of a series by investigative agencies against the AAP government. Sisodia for alleged liquor-gate kickbacks. Satyendra Jain arrested under money laundering charges.
भारत माता की इंकलाब!
Clean-up crackdown against the AAP government, or witch hunt ahead of Gujarat polls where AAP is a contender. The jury is out.
Well, Aam Aadmi Party insists that it is the BJP which is misusing the CBI, the ED and every rule in the book to target the Aam Aadmi Party because they want to break the party. But look at the charges which are there against the Aam Aadmi Party. We are just having a look at them. The latest one, of course, being the Waqf board recruitment scam in which the MLA Amanatullah Khan has just been arrested, though his close aide is still absconding. Of course, the biggest scam of them all, the liquor excise scam, where the heat is clearly on the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Apart from that, the Aam Aadmi Party's flagship program of education, that too is under a scanner because there are school classroom scams as well, which is being spoken about, with the Lieutenant Governor himself actually making these allegations against the Delhi government. And finally, of course, the DT buses scam as well, which has been taken note of by the LG's office as well. In fact, under a fraud under the PMLA, the Minister Satyendra Jain has already been arrested. That's yet another attack on the Aam Aadmi Party as far as the allegations go. Now, we're just going to move on to what exactly is the entire issue between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, and we just heard what Arvind Kejriwal had to say. According to Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party, there is no proof whatsoever against any of them. It's the BJP's political vendetta, and it's showing, to use the words of the AAP. According to AAP, 169 false cases have been filed against the Delhi Aam Aadmi Party MLAs. That's what Aam Aadmi Party claims. The BJP is worried ahead of the Gujarat elections. Is another big allegation coming in from AAP, and the BJP's efforts to poach AAP MLAs has completely failed, which is why they're going under Operation Lotus 2, when we just heard what Arvind Kejriwal had to say a short while back. I'm going to throw the floor open to this evening to all my guests. Shehzad Poonawala is joining me in the studio. Thank you so much, Shehzad. Shantanu Hussain, former CBI Joint Director, and Syed Asad Abbas, he's a political analyst. To you first, Shehzad. Is this true? I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party's claim is Operation Lotus once again. Since that's failed, you're going to misuse the agencies to attack the AAP because you're scared of Gujarat.
Pallavi, thank you for having me on my on your show. And first of all, let me tell you, AAP today stands for not Aam Aadmi Party but Aur Adhik Propaganda, and this is actually Aam Aadmi Party's Operation Looters. Let me put it on record first of all that your channel invited the Aam Aadmi Party official spokesperson, but they chose not to come here. In the morning, you heard Mr. Kejriwal saying that channels don't invite them under some kind of pressure, but your channel on record has invited them and they haven't come, and therefore you have somebody else coming and representing their point of view, a supporter as it were. Now let me tell you the kind of lies Arvind Kejriwal spins and says every day. He said that Mr. Satyendra Jain ke ghar pe bhi kuch nahi mila, ye kattar imandar hai. There are 3 court orders that I have against Satyendra Jain, who is in jail for the last 4 months. Here is the High Court order saying that he has an Apradhik Prashtabhumi. Here is the High Court order saying that he was doing Hawalabazi, and here is the Trial Court order saying that prima facie the charges made in the ED charge sheet are correct, and therefore trial should go on against him and prima facie cognizance should be taken. He said that there is no proof. Then why is it that his 2 MLAs were convicted, Mr. Sanjeev Jha and Akhilesh Pati Tripathi Party for inciting violence against the police. Nisha Singh is in jail. Tahir Hussain, whom they said is being targeted because he's a Mussalman, is still in jail under UAP and other charges. You have Geeta Rawat, who's still in jail for corruption. You have had Jitendra Tomar and Sandeep Kumar, who were removed by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal from their positions, but not from the party. So are all of these charges fake, or is the court also vindictive? Is the court also targeting? Let's assume the CBI ED are targeting. Why is Mr. Satyendra Jain still in jail, and why are they calling them Kattar Imandar? There's a Chief Secretary report against Mr. Manish Sisodia about his ghotala and sharab. They won't answer any questions on that. They won't send their spokespersons on television channels, despite the television channel inviting them. There is a CVC inquiry report against the corruption in the classroom ghotala, where they showed toilets as classrooms. There is in the case of Hawala scam, there are court orders. In the case of bus ghotala scam, there's the OP Agarwal report committee. There is a report of the Chief Secretary on that. And now there is the latest scam of Waqf Board. Now, Waqf Board also, let me tell you that there are, they said that Mr. Kausar Imam Siddiqui is a Sayogi of Aam Aadmi Party or of Amanatullah Khan. He has nothing to do with the party. That's also false. Here is the joining letter of Kausar Imam Siddiqui. It was shown by your channel and other channels. He is a ward president. He is a member of the Aam Aadmi Party, जिसके घर से 12 लाख रुपए कैश और बेरेटा गन मिली है. Why aren't they answering these questions? Amanatullah Khan has been remanded to custody, not by the ACB, but by the court on the basis of what the ACB put forward. And the Waqf Board scam involves 33 people being denied opportunity to serve there, and he gave those jobs to his bhai bhatijas. And in fact, there are two people, whistleblowers, who came on record. Their names is Shamim Akhtar and Abid, who have said how he was trying to pressurize them, how he was taking away the files. There is tons of evidence. And Pallavi, you are a neutral anchor, journalist I know for a decade now. Please tell me, did you or did you not invite Mr. Kejriwal's party for this show?
Mr. Abbas, I'm going to ask you this question.
You did, right? And they didn't come.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's their choice not to come. But Shehzad, you've done a lot of
They
homework,
lied
Mr.
against
Abbas.
channels like yours. Your
Shehzad,
channel is a channel that upholds integrity. We may or may not agree with your channel at times, but your channel invited him. Most channels invite them. They don't come, and they accuse the media
Shehzad,
channel and journalists.
Okay, now it's fair. I have to ask this question to Mr. Abbas. Mr. Abbas, Shehzad has given a blow-by-blow account of all those allegations against the Aam Aadmi Party. एक बार आप कह सकते हो, दूसरी बार आप कह सकते हो कि these charges are wrong. But the point is, you know, we've listed it out, 4 to 5 allegations against the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, here was a party which began with this whole image of being simple, above board. Do you think that image has now been hurt?
Well, Pallavi ji, my good friend from the BJP got about 2-3 minutes. Kindly allow me the same. I don't pull back my punches too. First and foremost, he called me an AAP supporter. Respected sir, you are a national spokesperson of the BJP. So therefore, let me assume you are also a BJP supporter.
Now, Mr. Abbas, he never said that. Please, let's come to the point now. Please rebut whatever he had to say.
I'm coming, ma'am.
Yeah,
allow me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Please do not interrupt, ma'am. It's a humble request. 2 minutes. I need to make a lot of points because
go ahead.
my friend articulated many. Now, the quick point that I'd like to come to, Pallavi ji, is we need to understand the vendetta here. The vendetta of the Bharatiya Janata Party. What is it? CBI, ED, IT today are not just caged parrots, but anacondas and pythons out there to opposition leaders. But nothing happens to be their own, like the Janardhan Reddy brothers from my state of Karnataka, or even Himanta Biswa Sarma. Knock, knock. Where are you, CBI? What is the update? Case update on him? Nothing. Now let's come straight to the point. Why was my friend conspicuous of his absence during Bilkis Banu? He blames AAP not representing where were you in the Nupur Sharma controversy. So therefore, sir, it is not as per your convenience, but party orders. Now coming straight to the point of, he mentioned about Satyendra Jain. Sir, are you aware of the court update on Satyendra Jain? Court has time and again summoned the investigation officer to present our hardcore evidence, which the investigating officer has not been able to. You read Manish Sisodia ji, what did you get? Babaji ka tullu. Nothing at his house, nothing at the locker. The fact of the matter, what happened in the CBI charge sheet? Do we see, is there an establishment of quid pro quo? No. Where is the establishment of the money trail? No. Arop pe arop. My good friend Shehzad reminds me of Sunny Deol of this movie. Arop pe arop, arop pe arop. My lord, sabut dikhaiye, janab, sabut dikhaiye. Final point we need to understand here. Many of my BJP friends are tweeting time and again, FIR on Amanatullah Khan. Why the FIR? Because he was found to be in possession of pistols and cartridges and all of that. It is not Amanatullah Khan, sir. If it is so, present me the FIR copy naming Amanatullah Khan. The fact of the matter here is Pallavi ji, that today the BJP itself has lost faith in CBI, EDIT because they do their own BBI. Bhajpa Bharatiya investigation team, where they have their own camera, own judge, own jury, own reporter, and they do this floozy, no credibility, these sting operation.
Can I get in a word from Mr. Sain also? No, wait.
Last 30 seconds, Pallavi,
Go ahead.
last 30 seconds, and I'm done. The fact of the matter, credibility, like my good friend said, a channel like yours holds integrity. And as per their convenience, they don't agree with you when it's not. When it's sacrosanct that your channel is integrity. The fact of the matter today, the BBI, the Bhajpa's Bureau of Investigation, has lost faith in the CBI EDIT themselves, and they're doing their own sting operations. So SOS, String Operation Specialist, BBI. The fact is,
Mr. Abbas, अब देखो 30 seconds से ज़्यादा हो गया ना. Now if I stop you, you will then accuse me of favouring the BJP. So please, Mr. Abbas, one more thing. Let me just, I'm going to go across to Mr. Sain, but let me tell you this much. I was there. I covered. I remember the same allegations you people also put against Sheila Dixit, who unfortunately is not alive to defend herself. At that point of time, you did seem to have forgotten this whole argument which you're giving at this point of time, that you cannot make allegations without an investigation. I'm going to give that. No, wait. Mr. Abbas, I'll talk to Shehzad later and then I'll come to you, Mr. Sain. You are former CBI Joint Director. CBI has been dragged into this tug of war between the political parties. The opposition says you're being misused by the government. The government says that these are autonomous institutions. As a member of, a former member, I would say, of the CBI, what do you make of these kind of allegations? And do you also think that the low rate of convictions is also strengthens the arguments of the opposition?
First of all, this rate of conviction in CBI is not low. If you have seen the newspapers, it has been reported at 69.70% last year. So that's not at all low when the police conviction rate is 10 to 12%. So CBI's conviction rate is high. CBI is a good investigating agency. But please remember, CBI is not an autonomous organization when it is asked to investigate. CBI is a subordinate organization of the government. May I invite you to the recent 2018 amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act 17A, which effectively takes away from the CBI the right to look into even look into any act of corruption which is decision made. CBI cannot even look into these allegations. Formerly, CBI could use to do it. CBI had some autonomy. Now CBI has none. 2018, the law was changed. Now the CBI investigates on direction of a competent authority. And CBI being a subordinate organization of the Government of India, ACB being a subordinate organization under the Lieutenant Governor, which is effectively Government of India, will investigate any case given to them. And they will, I hope, investigate honestly. When it is investigating, they are not interfered with. Their allegations are taken as true. And all that they want to continue their investigation smoothly is granted to them. Their allegations are accepted. Okay. Their demand for custodial interrogation is accepted. That is the law of this land. Now, if they are guilty beyond reasonable doubt, they will be held guilty after the trial is over. At the present moment, talk of any guilt is not appropriate. It is misdirected. At the present moment, there are allegations. And I wonder, if you have recalled, these allegations have not been made when Aam Aadmi Party was not a powerful party. Since the Aam Aadmi Party had captured Punjab and is hoping to capture Gujarat, it has achieved power, and from power flows corruption. So it is easy for those who make allegations to level acts of corruption against individual AAP officers and AAP ministers. Since they hold the CBI and anti-corruption in hand, they can direct investigations, but don't hold anybody guilty of any charge till they are convicted by court.
Fair point.
That
but
is premature, and on your part, that is wrong.
I would also say, Mr. Sain, don't hold anyone guilty, but also don't give anyone a clean sheet, even as investigations are going on. Shehzad, I am not even going to ask any lending question. I just want you to counter what Mr. Abbas was saying.
You know, first of all, Pallavi, with all due respect to Mr. Sain, all I spoke about was issues where the matter has gone to court, and a court of law certainly. We may or may not agree on whether CBI ED is autonomous, not autonomous, and with all due respect to Mr. Sen, he served for this country, so I don't want to counter him on anything. But the courts at least are autonomous and independent. Now there is a court which has not granted bail to Mr. Satyendra Jain for the last 4 months. Is this a fact?
Yes.
Therefore, my simple question to Mr. Kejriwal and his official spokesperson through your channel, who's missing right now, is that Mr. Kejriwal, what document did you see by which you put yourself above a court of law and say that he is a Kattar Imandar, when on page 16 of 18, para 30, the Delhi High Court in August 2019 says that Mr. Satyendra Jain was the mastermind of a Hawala transaction, and reconfirms that in a trial court order on 29th of July 2022, and says that Satyendra Jain used Hawala funds to purchase agricultural lands, and also goes on to say on 22nd of July 2022 that Mr. Satyendra Jain has a Apradhik Prashtabhumi, criminal background, and therefore Mr. Kejriwal must decide whether he can be retained in court in the cabinet or not. Now I want to ask Mr. Kejriwal, because he gave the same clean sheet to Jitendra Tomar, he gave the same clean sheet to Sandeep Kumar, he gave the same clean sheet to Sanjeev Jha, who's been convicted, the same clean sheet to Akhilesh Tripathi, who's been convicted, the same clean sheet he gives to Manish Sisodia, the same clean sheet he gives to Satyendra Jain.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm only going by court orders. Forget the CBI ED. बहुत
I'm
खराब
running
है.
out of time, so I have to
बहुत
give the last
खराब है.
word to Abbas.
So,
Otherwise, he's
no,
going to...
the last word should be given to the Aam Aadmi Party official spokesperson who is missing and who lied about the independent media of this country that they do not invite him for shows.
Okay.
So I hope that if he watches TV, and I'm sure he does watch a lot of TV, tomorrow he will answer this question as to how he sits above the court and gives the decision of clean sheets to Satyendra Jain and his ilk.
Okay, Mr. Abbas, quickly, because this is the last word, really, because I'm winding up the debate. Go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Well, I can see the good friend of BJP has great affinity to its official spokesperson. Nevertheless, I'd like to quickly retort to his points. Respected sir reads it out like it's an High Court judgment. Respected sir, allow the court to take its course. You and I cannot do a trial of sorts here. You have a conviction order of the High Court or the Supreme Court. All you are making is observation.
You had conviction orders against Sheila Dixit.
You're interrupting.
You had conviction orders against Arun Jaitley ji. You had conviction orders against Gadkari ji. You had conviction orders against the 13 ministers of UPA. You had conviction orders against the BJP when you say there's a scam. You have conviction orders on Operation so-called Lotus. You have a conviction order on what?
Let's Mr.
What
Abbas
do you
finish
have a
off.
conviction order on? You don't even have a damn audio which you claim. Where is that audio tape? 25 crores. Where is that audio tape? Mr. Kejriwal, where is that audio tape?
Shahzad, I think it is fair. Mr. Abbas, please go ahead. I'm really coming out of time.
Not allowing me
Let
to
the
speak.
step
Mr. Abbas, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the
Bhai,
step
thoda
please should
tameez
respond.
rakhiye, bhai. You're losing the debate.
Arey,
So
Mr.
don't
Abbas,
be
please,
so-
please, yeah.
Pallavi ji,
Respond.
now coming
Mr.
straight to
Abbas.
the fact of the matter, this vendetta will go on because BJP is in power today. Justice Hetsi Verma said it. The cage parrots is such a true, and BJP is giving out to the world.
Okay.
Amanatullah Khan case, has he answered me? No. There is no
The court
FIR.
has reminded him.
Okay, that is it. I'm sorry, I have run out of time, Mr.
Amanatullah
Abbas.
Khan.
Maybe another time. I'll definitely give you more time. Thank you so much, Mr. Sen. I'm sorry I couldn't ask you a second question. Thank you very much, Shahzad, and also Mr. Abbas as well. I'm going to shift my focus to the other big story, and this has got to do with the funeral of the last rites of Queen Elizabeth II. Britain's longest serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, will be honoured with a full state funeral at Westminster Abbey tomorrow. It's going to begin at about 3:30 p.m. and is expected to last for at least an hour. Now, in accordance with the wishes of King Charles III, the public mourning period will continue across the country for a week after the funeral. President Draupadi Murmu reached London on Saturday to attend a state funeral and also signed a condolence book today. Other world leaders also reached London ahead of the funeral. The line to pay respects to the monarch lying in state continued for more than 5 miles along the southern banks of the River Thames. Meanwhile, Prince William and Harry both turned up in a ceremonial military uniform and held a vigil beside Queen's coffin at Westminster Hall today. My colleague Sanjay Suri is joining us from London. So all the dignitaries have already reached. Our president is already over there, Sanjay. It's certainly going to be a very, very emotive day for Londoners, particularly in the whole of Britain.
Well, it's an emotive day for all of Britain. It will also be a quite spectacular day. The British do their funerals as no one else in the world does. What we are looking ahead to is a very carefully choreographed and a very grand show. And a show it will be, no doubt. This is an event following tradition. It is a service, it's a religious service, it's an emotive goodbye. But the style of the goodbye is a grand one. the procession, brief procession that we will see from Westminster Hall, where she lies in state at the moment, to Westminster Abbey, just across the road, then the service, and then we're going to see the grand funeral procession for about 45 minutes, passing Parliament Square, passing the offices of government, passing Buckingham Palace, all the institutions of the government really, and that procession will be about 45 minutes. Consider that this has been years and years in the planning, and we have had about 10,000 military personnel involved in the preparation and to an extent participation here. This has been worked out to the second. For example, I mean, when people are taking steps, they've been practicing how to take on a metronome, count 75 beats per second to step accordingly. This is how precise this is, and it will be a very, very carefully calibrated and a very, very elaborate spectacle by way of a funeral.
All right, so that was Sanjay Suri giving a heads up on what's going to be happening tomorrow at the funeral of Queen Elizabeth. Well, that's it for me from now. Good night. News continues over here on CNN News 18.